At the end of your life, what will be your legacy? What will you leave behind for future generations? For the world, join the World Messenger, Isabella Lundberg, each week as she brings you a new distinguished guest from the business, sports, or entertainment world to share their success, their struggles, and their lessons. They will share their insights into current hot topics that affect everyone. Isabella facilitates an intimate, vulnerable environment to find the true value of humanity and real leadership. Are you ready for your legacy? The legacy that matters?
Hello, my beautiful friends. It's Isabella Lundberg here at the World Messenger, and I'm super excited to invite you for another epic episode of Legacy Leader Show. I am thrilled to invite this great guest who is showing second time here in our third season because he has some amazing work to share with all of us. He is a president of Compassion Entertainment. He has been producing great series and films. I love his work, and I'm sure you guys will love too. Most than anything, he is creating and addressing challenging, difficult subjects in such a beautiful way so that we can get entertained, but also educated and also empowered to make smart and great decisions. His background is really interesting, how he started and how he got into film and production. And without further ado, let me introduce you, David Chai. Hi, David. How are you?
Hi, Isabella. I'm good, thank you.
It's so great to have you with us. And I love the opportunity to have this conversation as we're wrapping up end of the year, as we're, of course, pretty soon facing voting and also a lot of different things and opportunities, and at the same time some challenges that comes with all of that. But before we dive into, could you tell us quickly, you have such a diverse background, and I know that my introduction couldn't do justice, but do you mind telling for everybody that's watching and listening a little bit about how did you get and figure it out that your sweet spot is entertainment, film production, and directing, screenwriting? Basically, you do everything, every single role, and you do it extremely well.
Well, when I was a teenager, I didn't quite know what I wanted to do. I just knew that I didn't want to be working in an office, and um, it seemed like entertainment or acting at that time was something that was really fun and interesting. So I went to acting school and fell in love with acting, and but then I had a friend who wanted to create a TV show. And he said, "Hey, how about we do this?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know anything about production or how to make TV shows." But I enrolled myself into a 12-week production course, and then I had my first exposure to film and television. And that led to getting a job in an editing company, and then that led to getting to film school. And then from film school, I actually was working in the industry since, mid 90s. So I've been in the industry a long time.
Wow. And your background is fascinating because not only how you kind of started, but you basically played every single role from in front of the camera, from the behind the camera, and anything in between. So, and you found some really, I would say, a sweet spot. You, as I'm seeing your work, you're a phenomenal screenwriter, but you're also a phenomenal producer as well as a director. And you being also a showrunner and involved in really putting back everything together. And I'm just curious, when you look at all of this, what role do you find most fascinating, more exciting?
Well, I would classify myself as a storyteller because ultimately that's the reason why you do any of this. You want to find something of meaning and you want to be able to deliver that to the people in the way that's entertaining and engaging and has purpose and meaning. So all these roles I've learned along the way really just are a means to an end. They're basically a way to tell the story. And uh, the more you learn about the industry, the more you appreciate all the different aspects. But because it is very challenging to put projects together, but I feel like the more you know, the closer you can achieve your vision. Because if you don't understand how budgets work or how schedules work, and then creatively you want to achieve something, but you don't know how to do it. If you know how the logistics work, you go, okay, I need how many backgrounds, I need how big a location, how do we feed everybody? It just means that you're able to get exactly what you want and don't compromise because you were misinformed or naive about what it takes.
I love that how much you know, and you've been a tremendous advisor for me in that space, and how much I learned from you, and also how much you are going through this process. As you said, you started in '90s, and how much you not only know historically what's going on, but also what's currently going on, and how well you're navigating that. You did something very outstanding when everything was shut down, when was nothing much going on during the COVID and even post-COVID. You were constantly filming and producing. You created on very low budget, very effective series films, and you now created also a phenomenal film that just got released that is available, but you saw as a tremendous opportunity. And do you mind telling us a little bit about that journey and your most recent project?
Well, I'll start with the stuff during, I guess, the lockdowns and COVID. And my friend, who's a DP, he called me up in, I guess, the middle of 2020, and he was like, "I'm so bored. There's nothing going on. Let's shoot something." And that led to a short film that is called Reject, and that short film actually got broadcast on NTD, and that led to them asking me to go and pitch the TV series A Good Cop. So being bored and wanting to do something led to, something really big and great. And shooting during COVID, that was really interesting because a lot of locations were just not accepting any film shoots. And there was one location in particular we wanted to shoot at a courthouse. And typically, under normal circumstances, all you need to do is book a time and you can shoot at the courthouse. But no one was allowed to shoot at this courthouse. So we put that at the end of our schedule. And we're like, okay, well, let's see if we can get in here at the end because the shoot was 76 days. It was almost 4 months of shooting. And we started in July, July, or June, July, August, September. Yes. So we started in June. And sure enough, uh, we shot that courthouse in September. But we were actually the first production back into that courthouse. And even the permit office was like, wait a second, how did you get a judge to agree to let you shoot in here? Like, really? Yeah, the judge gave us permission, so we're shooting. And everything went well. They actually commented on how professional and tidy we were because we tidied up that place to make it look exactly how we found it. But they said that, wow, you guys are probably the most tidy production we've ever had. And they've had Law and Order and all these big companies go through, but they just trashed places and leave um, garbage everywhere. But no, we try to be responsible and leave places at least how we found them.
I love that story, and I love also how you can, with film and also with vision and understanding how production work, not have to do everything in order and sequence of the script or the film, but then also being resourceful. And I love, again, just shows that compassion and kindness. And then also, of course, that the reason, the name of your company, but everything that you do really shows through your work. So you also did some really cool series, right? And then now you did a really great feature film.
Yeah, so I'll talk about the latest project that's called Your Vote Matters. And this project started off um, I had a friend who ran for office in a small town in New Jersey, and she was telling me about how she found it to be so corrupt, and she couldn't imagine how bad things were in Washington because trying to go up against, the incumbents or the backstabbing or the dirty tricks these people would play in the local town. She was just beside herself, and as she was telling me, I was thinking, this would make a really cool story because you can talk about all the problems in politics and how things work, and it's affordable. It's If you were to shoot a presidential story, you would need the White House, you would need Congress, you would need Washington, D.C. It would become really, really expensive. But I live in a small town in upstate New York, and I was thinking, it's such a pretty, picturesque town here. I could set it right here. And so I pitched this story to NTD, and I didn't hear anything back for like 6 months. I was like, okay, well, did you guys even see my proposal? So then they called me up. This was last year, probably around end of August, and they said, hey, we saw this little project of yours. We like it. Can you do this? And I was like, yeah, great. That's fantastic. I wish you told me a little earlier you wanted time for the elections, but now I have to scramble because I want to shoot this before it starts snowing, before it gets too cold outside, because it gets pretty cold in upstate New York.
Mhm.
So I looked at the timetable, and if I was to shoot this before Christmas, because normally it snows starting from Christmas on to, January, February. So I had to shoot between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I had basically 18 days to shoot this movie.
Wow. 18 days.
Yeah, so, um, but being good with logistics, so I basically plotted out, did the schedule, and the other challenge too was we shot exteriors in the daytime, and in December you only get 8 hours of daylight. So the sun comes up around 7:30, or 8, 9 hours, and then it's by 4:30 it's dark. So
Yeah.
so
So you have even more limitation in those 18
so
days.
you have to basically shoot your day exteriors really quickly because that sun, once it's gone, and it's not coming back until the next day. But it's cold outside, so you don't want to stay outside any longer than you need to. I had to wear like 2 layers or 3 layers of pants and clothes, and the actors were really cold because they can't wear thick thermals, so we had to have coats ready for them. Uh, and a lot of the issues of shooting in December, you have to think about that and the comfort of your actors. Um, but basically, I looked at the schedule. I had 18 days to shoot this, and also um, I needed to write the script because when I pitched it, I didn't have a script. I just had a pitch deck with the outline of the story. So I worked backwards. Okay, I had about 2.5 weeks to write the script.
Wow.
And that was September. So I wrote it in September, but I had to do some research because this is about politics and it's not something that I'm not a politician. I don't have a background in politics. So the first thing I do is normally I just buy some books from Amazon, and I bought one book about how independents run for office, and then I bought another book about political scandals, and I spoke to some people that I knew that had ran for office in the past. So I would say, hey, what was your experience? What was some of the takeaways or things that you really, that is part of the process that people may not know about? And so one of the things they said was, oh, every day after work, they would be knocking on doors, door knocking every day of the week, and then every weekend for like 6 months. That's all they did was knocking on doors and talking to people. And that's really the reality of somebody running in a small town. And obviously, I didn't want to show half the movie of just knocking on doors as talking to people, but I try to condense that into the movie so that people get a sense of how exhausting that can be. It's the characters knocking on doors and talking to people, getting doors slammed in her face. Um, so that talking to people, doing the research, and also reading about how politics works, also going on to the election website and looking at all the steps that you need to run for office. And also, I looked at my small town's actual election results because they post everything's public. They post the election results for multiple years, and it tells you exactly how many people run, uh, how many people vote, how much they win by. And what's crazy is with a lot of local elections, votes winners are decided potentially by as little as a few votes, 4 votes, 10 votes. So it's really not that difficult to run in a local election. And the whole process was fascinating to me because if you go to the Board of Election website, it's got like this 900-page document about how to run. But if you distill it down into, okay, what are the actual steps? What do you need to know to run? Then, so in this story, because Anna Summers, who's the lead, the protagonist, because she doesn't know anything about politics. So she has a kind of a consultant guide who holds her hand through this process. And as Anna Summers learns about how to run for office, the audience also learns all the steps that you actually need to run for a local election. So by watching this movie once, you too actually know how to run for office.
That is fantastic. And I've been watching the film, and I have to say, I didn't know. I know we talked when you were working on this project, but I just didn't know that in such a short span, you were working, A, getting the script, B, filming it, which means also casting right talent. And talent that you casted looks great. It's like how everything chemistry wise and skill set wise and appearance wise. And made it so real and so believable and so strong. And then also, of course, you had a limited budget, but still to make it very, very good quality movie blows my mind, which also speaks so highly of your talent and skill set and obviously mindset. Whenever you put your mind to it, you make it happen. But one thing I want to highlight for everybody watching and listening, if you've never been a part of film and production, just dealing with magnitude of people that never worked before together, because every film has a different setups, scenes, different requirements. I mean, just to see that level of collaboration speaks volumes. And how did you make that happen? Since we're seeing so much conflict, separation, and so many issues, like you are showing how is collaboration and obviously amazing outcomes done as a result of it.
Well, we are living in a time where people are more divided than ever before, and it seems that if um, politics is something which is almost so explosive. You can't be on the wrong team. You can't be friends with somebody who's voting on the other side of what you believe in. And for me, that kind of whole idea that you can't be friends with somebody who has a different opinion to you is ridiculous because to be tolerant, to be compassionate, it means that you have to embrace everybody. You have to look at what's good in people and not just look at, okay, you have this one little thing that I don't like, so therefore forget it. I can't be friends with you. I can't have anything to do with you. But what kind of world is that? That's not the world I want to live in. The world I want to live in is, you can have a completely different opinion to mine, and that's fine. And I can still be your friend, and we can talk about things, and we can still, you know, have intelligent discussions because um, that means that you're at a maturity level where you're able to open your heart and look at the totality of somebody. It's You're not just reduced to this one thing. Oh, if you think that, you're bad and that's it. I'll throw you in the trash. um, so the challenge of this movie and most of my movies, my goal is to try and find a way to actually reunite people and bring people together. So the film isn't talking about who to vote for. It's talking about this person who just runs because she cares about her town. She cares about issues that actually affect the people in her town. And she just tries to find a way to make that work. She's not driven by profit, by greed, by power, by ego, by um, just all these things that a lot of people are driven by, and that in a way she's like the unicorn because the consultant has no idea what to do with her because he's trying to guide her and these are the ways that you win so that you can get paid in politics, and she's like, but I don't care about that. You know, I care about the people I'm running for, and I want to help this town. And so that to me is part of the message is that if you take the focus back to, okay, how can we better things, how can we help each other, then maybe the focus starts to shift towards something more cohesive and more important and bigger than just, what you want. And that shift happens for her in the storyline. And so the challenge was, okay, I have this crew here, I got this cast here. They probably have all kinds of politics, all kinds of backgrounds, some people far left, far right, center. And that was my first test because even when I was casting, some people were asking me, okay, so what political spectrum are you guys on? And what because if you're doing something that I'm not happy with, I'm not doing the film. And even the lead actress's mother, initially, she said, "What do you mean you're going to do a film about politics? No, don't do it. It's going to be the end of your career." And this is somebody who has ran for Congress twice, used to teach politics in college. But when she read my script and the lead actress said she loved the script, and she said, "Wow, this is 100% accurate, and I could use this to teach my class. Oh, no, totally, you should do this film." So what kind of a flip-flop from no, don't do this movie, it's gonna destroy your career, to wow, no, this is fantastic, it's so accurate, it's funny, it's got all these, it talks so much about the details of how politics actually works, and she's somebody who really knows how politics works. So having that endorsement, my actress is all the way in, of course. But yeah, I didn't have any pushback from any cast members. They all really enjoyed it. They all wanted to be part of it. And I did something which doesn't normally happen on most films. I actually let the whole crew read the script.
Wow.
And for some reason, most crew members are not allowed to read the script. So then when they work on a project, they have no idea what they're actually working on. And I just felt like, you know what? I'm gonna just let everybody read this because I want you to be more involved and more engaged and understand what we're trying to achieve here. And
Mm.
I found that no, the crew loved the script. And again, all sides of the political spectrum here. Um, Nobody had any issues with it, and it actually did help because when we were filming scenes, they knew exactly where it fit, exactly what part of the story it was, and sometimes I would have suggestions, but everybody was just so motivated, and they worked really quickly and professionally, and we were in this small town because 2 hours out of New York City. And because we're out of the city, we had housing for the cast and the crew. And because we only had 8 hours of daylight, so we finished at 4:30 in the afternoon when we were shooting outside. So they had all this free time to go exploring the town and hanging out together. And it was like camp. These guys had such a great time. They even got so close to each other. They had this like crew farewell dinner. They cooked like Italian pastas and had this.
That is
Yeah, they had such a great time together. So it was such a great crew. We just felt really close and really connected. And in future, yeah, I would definitely want crew to be aware of what we're filming too, not just here, do your job and have no idea what you're working on, because they're part of the process. They're just as important to making this film as the actors. So why not include them?
I love the shift. I can't say how I'm as someone who advised corporations and who has been involved in both public and private sector, and I'm frankly nonprofit as well. I can't agree, and I echo what you just said. I love that you are not only including, I'm sharing with them because now That's why we're able to do this in such a short period of time. That's why it was so well done. I can tell based on now that I know more details and the path you went through and seeing the final product is like, how did you manage? Because it's such a sensitive topic. And at the same time, it's also completely neutral, but yet very educational and gives really clear spectrum of things that people don't know, and that we create a lot of bias and judgment without even really knowing how everything works and why it works in a way, right? But then understanding what type of system we're in and what can we do to position ourselves better. Just from that side, a little on now also bringing everybody together and also focusing towards that harmonized way of collaborating. And I have to again point out for everybody watching and listening, David just disclosed the biggest takeaway for any business. More you engage with your team, more you lead, more you're visible, more you're transparent, more you're honest, more you have with integrity and telling them what it is going on, what limitations, obstacles, challenges you have, which I know you voiced it, and what you have to accomplish in every single day. Results are speaking to itself. I'm just want to say absolutely blown away, David. Kudos for your leadership and bringing everybody along for the journey and giving them the chance to be part of it in such a more deeper, meaningful way. And I love what you said. As a result, they perform better. As a result, everybody knew what fits, and they also all of a sudden had everybody working towards the common same goal, right?
Yeah, for sure. It I just, in a way, there are a lot of things in the film industry. They are legacy ideas. I'm not sure why some of these things. I mean, I understand why they do it. It's because they want to hold the power. They don't want to give this kind of agency to all the crew members. And certainly, if it's a big movie like Marvel, they do have bigger issues like leaks and secrets being exposed. But on an independent project where that isn't really a problem, there isn't really a good reason why those kind of conventions are followed. Um, I definitely feel like it makes a huge difference. I've been on film sets before where, yeah, basically most of the crew just do their job. They have no idea what it's about. They have no idea how it fits into anything. It's like, nah, man, just clock in and clock out, and that's it. They're not part of it. They're just there to fill a position. But
Mm.
when you include them into the process, and sometimes you're asking them, hey, I want to achieve this, and you're asking questions, and they're gonna try to find solutions for you. They're gonna try and go above and beyond because they understand what you're trying to accomplish, and they also feel included. So they're invested now. They're like, you know what? I want to see this succeed. I want to make sure that this film is good. And part of that is, I try to treat everybody in the film set the same. If you're a PA, if you're the DP, if you're, it doesn't matter to me because you're a person first. And just being a person, you deserve my respect. You deserve my time. You deserve, I need to treat you how I want to be treated because somebody may be a background person and they come up to me and they're like, "Oh, hi, it's my first time on a film set." I say, "Great, here, welcome. Thank you for being part of this project, and I love having you here. And here, I'll introduce you to some of the other people. And you know what? That is the kind of experience that somebody will remember, and somebody will go, "Wow, it's actually can be fun, and people are friendly on a film set." But a lot of times, and this happened on the last project, on A Good Cop, some of the backgrounds would say to us, "You guys are the best time we've had on a film set." And we've been on 100 film sets. Big budget, professional film sets where we get treated like garbage, where nobody talks to us. They don't even look at us. They don't treat us like human. We're like the furniture. They just, here, come over here, like stand there, like no engagement, no hello, no nothing. Just treat them like less than human because you're not high enough on the totem pole, so I can't even give you some decent human courtesy. To me, that's not how I operate. That's not what I'm about. There's no way I would ever treat anybody like that. So the environment on my film sets, everybody is treated well, everybody's respected, and it doesn't matter where they are in their career, in the station. And to me, that, that's just how I operate. I just want to have a base level of humanity and compassion. Hence, why my company is called Compassion Entertainment. I just want to make sure that everyone has their respect.
I
And
love that. I love how you walk in the talk, how it's everything bleeding through and in the right way and comes through and how important it is. And I just want to, again, everybody watching and listening to really take a note that it is possible to run business and be successful. It's possible and actually more than ever needed to from leadership standpoint, and shows again who you are as a person, who you are as a leader, and as a result, how people show up for you to support you and do their best. And that's where everybody wins. Now, when we take a pride in what we're doing and when we collaborate and when we're working together, it just shows it's a reflection, because then we hold each other to higher standards, better performance, and as a result, we're creating phenomenal products. So for everybody watching and listening, I wanted to, again, tell us the name of the title of the movie again, when was it released, you were just having the premiere, how was that being received? And then obviously where everybody watching and listening can see it for free. That's even the best part of it. It's now available for free for everyone to partake and see this masterpiece.
yeah, so it's Your Vote Matters. You can see it on ntd.com. That's Nancy Tom David, ntd.com. They also have a YouTube channel, Rumble channel, and Epoch TV. You can also see it on there, but you do have to create an account and log in, but it is still free. Um, so yeah, those are the four ways you can see this movie. I did want to add one thing about the one of the advantages of treating people well, and this is the two producers that worked on this. They're phenomenal, James and Ted Orfanos. Those guys, they operate just like me. They treat everybody well. They're always calm and they're always very professional, but they're very respectful of everybody. And when we were filming A Good Cop, there was one, we needed a hotel room as one of our locations. And they went to this place, and then there was a person who was working there, and then he saw Teddy and said, Teddy Orfanos? And he's like, yes. And then he goes, I remember you. I remember you from, it was 3 years ago. He was a background on a TV show that they were working on. And he said, you were the only guy that was nice to me on that set.
Wow.
And then he goes, what do you guys need? And then he goes, oh, we're looking for room. And then so he went and got the manager and said, look, Teddy's a good one. Whatever he needs, like help him out. And literally they just said, okay, whatever you guys need. And then we like, okay, we were looking at this 3 bedroom suite. They upgraded us to the 4 bedroom suite and they gave us a killer rate. And like, oh, can we shoot in the lobby? We need to get a couple scenes. Oh, no problem, no problem at all. Like, just tell me when you need to do it. And whatever we needed, they helped above and beyond anything I could have expected. And all because Teddy had treated this person well 3 years ago on a film set, and that guy never forgot it. So to me, there is a direct correlation to a benefit in your company, in your future, by just giving out good karma, just giving out good vibes. And that's why, I don't want to have people hate me just because I'm being nasty to somebody. And it's just bad all around. They would turn around and say, "Oh, how was that film? Oh, that guy's terrible." He was so nasty to everybody, as opposed to, "Oh no, it was great. These guys were so friendly. They were so nice." And what we found was a lot of the backgrounds kept coming back. They wanted to be part of more shoots, more dates because they had such a great time. They were having fun. Everybody was nice. So they were like, "Can we come back? Can we be on like, more scenes and more productions?" And that is a direct benefit because yeah, we had a few people come back a few times, and that
I
happened
love
on the previous project too. People were just like, "I love hanging out with you guys so much. I would do it for free." Like literally, they some of them did. They literally did it for free just so they could hang out with us. And they were,
it. Hollywood, take a note, film producers and everybody in entertainment space can be done in much more humane way and can be much more gratifying as a result of it. And I'm loving that we're seeing the positive shift and positive wave, even if it's a small, it creates the ripple effect. And just my collaboration with you through screenwriting, through biopic of my story, was nothing short of being amazing. You dealt with such a grace and grit with working with me because it was so painful and emotional and was a lot of things that I didn't know that I was experiencing and being on the roller coaster ride, and just having the level of understanding and just compassion you exuded towards me in moments like that when I was feeling like so many things that I didn't know what's going to happen next, right? Is how important it is also to have a someone who can also hear and see the bigger picture, but also find the space for you in the moments of vulnerability or moments when you deal with emotions that you thought maybe already been resolved and they resurface, or things that trigger you. And right now, as I love your approach also to storytelling, how you look at things from research, from current practical applications, and trying to paint them in an accurate way, because and then also connecting the dots so that we can understand things better. And again, I can't tell enough how much thrilled I am about this film, because I was thinking I already know, so it's going to be cool just from entertainer purposes. But I was so flabbergasted how much was also empowering and educational. And I just want to make sure that everybody is taking time to watch it and see it. So could you tell us, you just went to premiere, you what amazing opportunity to be with cast, to be in different locations. Do you mind telling a little bit about how it's been received? What did you get from feedback now from the critics and what they're saying?
well, the feedback so far has been overwhelmingly positive. I haven't really heard any negative feedback because I was like thinking, okay, maybe some people would be, find some things, maybe it's some things that I like or some things that they have issues with. But no, it was really, really just so positive so far. I, I think that it's the thing about politics is I always wanted to take this in a humorous approach because if you are just dead serious and inflammatory in a way, it
Yeah.
can it can become something that yeah people are will dig into and start to find issues. But taking the humorous approach is a way to laugh about issues. It's a way to because I grew up in Australia, and in Australia they like to make fun of politicians. They there's this whole sarcastic approach to how you talk about politics and issues so that that way people are engaged, and they don't have that in America. It's something also you find in the UK. There would be whole TV shows where they make fun of their leaders and make fun of everything. And in a way, it's like the court jester's role in the kingdom, because nobody can really talk about issues except the court jester, because the court jester is making light of them, making it funny. So now you can actually go, oh, okay, maybe I can think about this issue because it's not in a way that's attacking, and it's not in a way that's sort of so close to reality that it's hard for you to take it, because politics does affect all of us, and a lot of the people that are in charge may not be have they may not have the best our best interests at heart. So it's hard for us to kind of face the reality that, some of our leaders are in it for themselves. But if you take it in a humorous approach, if you're able to make people laugh about some of these things, then okay, maybe we can think about it in a way that's a little bit more open-minded. Maybe we can think about, you know what? Maybe we can improve things if we just take a step back, and that's one of the messages too of this film is maybe you can run for office. Maybe you can make a difference. Why not you? Like, stop waiting for somebody else to solve all the problems in your life, in your world, in your community. How about you take the steps and actually go out there and do it? And it's not that difficult. If Anna Summers can run for office and then maybe you can too. And it's demystifying it so that you're not going to be looking at politics as this black box. Well, yeah, you got to understand how it works. You got to have the right connections. You got in a lot of local communities. You don't need all that. You can just go out and do it.
Mm, I love that. It's that part of empowerment, right? Understanding first because you begin educated now. Now you have a sense of empowerment. Either now you can do it yourself or support someone else who is doing it. Like Anna had her friends and others rallying around her, and it's for shared goal, for shared vision. And it's kind of back to the premise of the famous quote, be the change you want to see, right? It's like, how do you take the reins in your own hands and show up that version of yourself, and then also do whatever you can to see the change and foster the positive change that we see. And I love again how you brought up everybody together. And I can again stress enough in times that we live in how crucial that is. So, in a closing, David, when you were putting all this together, when you were rushing through to make it happen, and then you seen it in that final product, do you mind just sharing what feeling you had and how this now really creates this ripple effect based on feedback you're getting? Because how many already views the film had, which I was just watching on YouTube. I was like, oh my God, it's unbelievable. And how much in turn on as a overall the message, if we could say, would be the one particular message that you now can see after it's been live for everybody watching and listening, specifically preparing for this election to vote?
Well, I mean, so many reactions, so many feelings through the process of making this film because the editing process was really quick. I had an amazing editor. His name's Keith Crockett, and he had worked on 26 features before this one, and he was really, really, really good. Um, so we had a edit in record time. It was done actually the first 2 weeks of February. We had a picture lock, and we finished just shooting December 18th, I believe. Um, so after we picture locked it, and the process of the music took 5 months.
Wow.
And when you write orchestral music, and that's kind of what this is, it takes a lot longer than modern music because for each of those cues, yeah, the melody they got nailed pretty quickly, but to arrange it, they might have 20 different instruments that need to be arranged for one cue, and then it has to get mixed. And it took like, because there's music through probably 90% of this film,
Yes.
and I love a lot of the themes. To me, they're just I come from the old school of music, the John Williams, where he has themes for the good guys and the bad guys, and and so when you have certain characters show up on screen, their music starts to play, and you're like, ooh, okay.
Anticipation and suspense, but also gets you really going to keep just watching, you glued to it. Yes.
Yeah, but Anna's theme is really beautiful. It's got this positive bounciness to it. It's so um, just so perfect for her character. And when I had the initial edit, because I don't edit with music, I edit with no music, because I want to make sure the pacing is solid before any music goes in. I found when I edit with music, the music can sometimes give you a false sense of pacing because the music covers pacing issues. But when you keep watching something, then you go, well, no, that needed to be quicker, needed to be faster. The music does help to cover it, but it isn't optimal. So I edit with no music, and then the music, if the film works without any music, it will be 10 times better when the music comes in.
Wow.
So when the music took 5 months, and then it was done around August, and then um, and there was 120 plus effect shots that needed to be done. Basic stuff like um, nothing crazy. There was, but just a lot of them. And then once everything was done, it was a long process. I look back at it and go, you know what? I'm happy with this. I'm happy with the film, the message, the execution. I love what all the actors brought to the table. I love how efficiently the crew worked to bring this, film to completion. And the audience reaction so far has been really, really positive. It's really everything that I could hope for. I just, hope more people get to see it and experience this and learn something about, local politics. But also, it's just a fun movie. So it's entertaining. So just have a good laugh, have a good time.
And what I love about it, everything you just said, and to validate this, I feel like it's such a great family film. It's like opportunity to bring families together, even though we might be on different spectrum, but make it lighthearted and also connect some fundamental things that all of us want: being accepted, being included, and also having a dialogue, right? When we have those three ingredients, everything works in personal, professional life, and you just demonstrate what that secret sauce is. So thank you for sharing that journey with us. And in closing, we definitely will share all the links so everybody can watch it in multiple different ways and know where to find it and all of that. And obviously opportunity to connect with you from IMBD page all the way to LinkedIn. But I just want to make sure, again, for everybody watching and listening, where would you like them to go again so that we have that information and we can just see more reactions?
So there is a movie website called yourvotemattersmovie.com. But the company that funded this project, NTD, the network, just so you know, they are trying to be what objective journalism used to be. They try to be nonpartisan. They try to be just stick to the facts, and that's so refreshing and rare in this time. And they are also covering all the election with dedicated anchors and very timely. So just yeah, you can find this movie on ntd.com, but you can also watch the election coverage at ntd.com as well. And yes, the other websites: YouTube on the NTD channel, Epoch TV on their cinema page, and also on Rumble you can find this.
Thank you for listening to Legacy Leader Show. If you enjoyed the content and had a positive experience, then please leave us a positive rating. In addition, leave us a positive review whenever you are listening on whatever platform there might be. Make sure your friends and family also know about the benefit and value that we provide and what we have to offer. Cheers.